Hi, I'm Devon Chivis, second year sports management major from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Hello, I'm Tamaris Branch, and I'm a senior graphic design major from Hampton, Virginia.
My name is Derek Collins II. I'm a first year journalism major, leadership studies minor from Chicago, Illinois.
And my name is Whitney Bronson. I'm a freshman journalism major, history minor from Cincinnati, Ohio.
20 years ago, Susan and Mike had a baby and were ecstatic to welcome their beautiful boy into the world. They named him Joseph. Joseph grew up loving to swim, play baseball, and wrestle. As Joseph grew in age, he joined the swimming team at his local park district and was a star swimmer. As Joseph matriculated through high school, he had dreams and goals of becoming an Olympic swimmer. He practiced tirelessly day and night, increasing his stamina, breathing, speed, and technique. For his 19th birthday, his parents surprised Joe by taking him to the Olympic trials so he could fulfill his lifelong dream. Little did they know, this would be the biggest mistake of their lives.
A reemerging disease is an infectious disease that was once a major problem to global populations, which is then controlled and declines dramatically thanks to medicine. And then, so it is to only reemerge and create a health problem to susceptible populations, which kind of comes from people that are in third world countries that can't either, get access to the medicines, or people that are, around infectious waters or food or anything like that. So that's how usually a lot of these diseases reappear. In most cases, people are immune to the disease now also, which means people's bodies can't fight off the disease, or antibiotics become resistant and unable to fight off or help cure a patient. Also, they reemerge when people are around contaminated waters, like in third world countries, they're drinking the water or they're eating food that is infected with bacteria, and that causes a major problem for people because they're also eating and drinking, which is they're using the bathroom, and sometimes it's in the water. So then people are again having that recycled water waste and are consuming that, which can cause the bacteria and infection. Also, it is spread through human interactions. So people have a disease and they're either coughing or they're interacting in a physical way, whether it's sexual fluids or blood, anything like that is come in contact. People can get sick in that way. And when this happens, it makes the disease spread like wildfire, and it's hard for healthcare officials to actually cure it and kind of plan where it's coming from. So it makes it very, very hard, and it makes the disease go back to the high levels that it was once when it first emerged. A great example of a re-emerging disease was during the 19th century. Cholera, which is a water contamination disease, spread from its original reservoirs in the Ganges in India, and it killed millions of people across all continents. Which it started in South Asia in 1961, and then reached Africa by 1971, and then it reached America by 1991. And it slowly declined, but now today it's starting to pop up again in a lot of places where wars are, especially in Yemen. As of today, I think there's about 4,000 cases of cholera, and it's growing each and every day. So with re-emerging diseases, people just have to be kind of aware of their surroundings and what's around them, because bacteria can be anywhere, and when people consume or get near that bacteria and it gets in their system, it makes it very hard for people to treat it, and then it just creates a long, long list of just people either dying or becoming very, very sick and ill.
Joseph would go on to make the Olympic team and go with the rest of Team USA to the Olympics in Rio de Janeiro. He, along with his parents and friends, were elated and overwhelmed with joy at the thought of what could be. Before traveling to Brazil, all the Olympians were made aware of any and all pathogens that could potentially be harmful to them and their performance. Diphtheria, cholera, and traveler's diarrhea were a few highlighted in the lecture as some of the worst to become infected with. Upon their arrival in Rio, his parents even pointed out signs in the airports warning of many of the same diseases Joseph was told about before. However, as many young adults do, he overlooked the warnings, thinking, it won't happen to me.
Pathogens are the cause of disease. A true pathogen is an infectious agent that causes disease on virtually any vulnerable host. Opportunistic pathogens are potentially infectious agents that rarely cause disease on individuals with healthy immune systems. Diseases caused by opportunistic pathogens are typically found amongst groups such as the elderly, whose immune systems are already failing, cancer patients receiving chemotherapy, which has a negative effect on the immune system, or people that have AIDS or are HIV positive, which is also a reemergent disease. Acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, which we all know as AIDS, is a chronic, potentially life threatening condition caused by the human immunodeficiency virus, which is HIV. By damaging your immune system, HIV interferes with your body's ability to fight organisms that cause disease. Symptoms of HIV would be a fever, fatigue, swollen lymph nodes often are the first signs of HIV infection, diarrhea, weight loss, or yeast infection, also known as thrush, shingles, also known as herpes zoster. Symptoms of AIDS would be soaking night sweats, recurring fever, chronic diarrhea, persistent white spots, or unusual lesions on your tongue or on your mouth, persistent unexplained fatigue, weight loss, skin rashes, or bumps.
After a strenuous day of practicing, Joseph decided to go out to the urban areas to familiarize himself with his new environment. As he carried on his journey, he saw a couple young boys racing in a local stream and naturally decided to join them. They playfully splashed and dunked each other underwater for what could have gone on for hours. Upon returning to practice later that evening, Joseph noticed he was slightly lightheaded and his mouth was extremely dry, but he thought nothing of it and continued on as normal. Within a few days, Joseph's condition got worse. He could not move his lower body, was experiencing severe diarrhea, and repeatedly slipped in and out of shock. Worried and unaware of what was wrong, Joseph's parents rushed him to the hospital. Doctors say Joseph had picked up cholera when he swam in the lake a few days before. The water Joseph had been swimming in was a river where locals would wash their clothes, their pets and animals, and also bathe and dump their waste. Because of this, the water was extremely contaminated, and when Joseph ingested some of it, he contracted cholera. As a result, he was temporarily disabled and could not compete in the Olympics.
There are many measures being taken to try to prevent the spread of reemerging diseases. Those measures are making sure there is safe water, sewage treatments and disposal, food safety programs, animal control programs, and vaccination programs. These programs help to protect the general public from infectious diseases and generally do so by eliminating the pathogen from its source and/or from its route of transmission. In terms of safe water, the underdeveloped countries have more problems with it. Developed countries have processes such as settling, filtration, and chlorination to purify the water before it goes into the homes. Water can also be purified by being boiled or treated with chlorine before it is ingested. Pathogens that cause gastrointestinal diseases such as hepatitis A and typhoid fever are most commonly transmitted through unsafe water. Sewage is considered to be wash water, water from toilets, and storm runoff. To prevent reemerging diseases such as hepatitis A, the liquid is separated from the solid, then the liquid is treated with chlorine and the solid is dumped or burned. Food safety programs are put in place to inspect meatpacking facilities, restaurants, and supermarkets so diseased animals and residue from pesticides and antibiotics can be eliminated. Standards for canning and preserving food are also inspected for contamination. Animal control programs prevent diseases from being passed to humans through milk and meat. For instance, domestic herd animals such as cows are inspected for tuberculosis. Domesticated animals such as dogs and cats have to have proof that they have been vaccinated against diseases like rabies, and wild or stray animals can be impounded so people can stay healthy. Rodent or rat control is also big in urban areas, since they spread diseases like the bubonic plague. Insects transmit diseases like malaria and West Nile virus and are controlled by eliminating their breeding areas and using pesticides. In order to prevent human-to-human transmission of diseases, many states require that parents or guardians provide proof that their children have been vaccinated before they are enrolled in daycare facilities or public schools. This is done for public health and individual health. If a majority of a population is immune to a disease, the pathogen that causes the disease will not be able to reproduce itself at a high level to maintain itself. When the infected host recovers or dies, there are not enough new hosts for the pathogen to infect. Then the pathogen cannot spread anymore and could potentially be eliminated from that population. If the pathogen is not eliminated, there will be few cases of the disease and an epidemic will be avoided. The main goal of vaccinations is to achieve immunization of individuals part of a certain number of population, so the disease will no longer spread.